What if I told you that the woman who would one day save an entire nation was once an orphan girl living in obscurity, forgotten by the world but never forgotten by God? This is the story of Esther, not just the queen of Persia, but the girl behind the crown, the story you likely haven't heard before. Esther, originally named Hadassah, was born into a Jewish family during a time when her people lived as exiles in the vast Persian Empire. Her early life was far from royal. It was marked by pain and loss. As a young girl, she lost both of her parents, leaving her an orphan in a foreign land. She was taken in by her cousin Mordecai, a man of deep faith who raised her as his own daughter. Though life was difficult, Mordecai taught Esther the ways of their people, the stories of Abraham, Moses, and the God who had delivered Israel time and time again. But Esther's life wasn't just about survival. She was also remarkable in her own right. The Bible tells us she was extraordinarily beautiful, but her beauty went far beyond her outward appearance. Esther possessed a quiet strength, a humble spirit, and a wisdom that was rare for someone so young. Her life in Mordecai's household was simple, yet it was here that she developed the character and faith that would prepare her for her extraordinary future. Esther lived in Susa, the capital of Persia, a city bustling with power, wealth, and intrigue. But for her and her people, life was filled with uncertainty. As Jews, they were a marginalized community, constantly at the mercy of a culture that viewed them with suspicion. The king of Persia, Xerxes, or Ahasuerus in Hebrew, was a man of immense power but little stability, known for his impulsive decisions and lavish lifestyle. It was in this turbulent environment that Esther grew up, unaware of the incredible plan God was orchestrating for her life. When Queen Vashti defied King Xerxes and was deposed, a ripple of fear and opportunity spread throughout the empire. A decree went out to gather the most beautiful young women from across the land to compete for the position of queen. For many, this was a dream come true, but for Esther, it was a daunting and unexpected turn of events. She had no royal ambitions, yet she found herself swept into the king's palace, her identity as a Jew hidden at Mordecai's instruction. Imagine Esther, a young orphan girl of humble beginnings, now standing in the luxurious courts of Persia, surrounded by the glittering wealth of an empire. The palace was filled with rivalry, jealousy, and pressure as the women prepared to meet the king. Yet Esther didn't rely solely on her beauty. She carried with her the lessons of faith and integrity instilled by Mordecai. She found favor with Haggai, the eunuch in charge of the women, who ensured she received the best treatments and advice. But what made Esther truly extraordinary wasn't her beauty or the favor she gained. It was the providence of God working behind the scenes. While others competed for the king's attention with ambition and cunning, Esther's humility and grace set her apart. When she finally appeared before King Xerxes, he was captivated. She was crowned queen, an unlikely position for an orphan Jewish girl in a pagan empire. Yet even as she wore the crown, she remained true to her roots, listening to Mordecai's counsel and keeping her faith alive in secret. Before Esther became the brave queen who would risk her life to save her people, she was simply Hadassah, a girl who had every reason to believe her life would amount to nothing. Her story reminds us that God often uses the most unlikely people for his greatest purposes. Esther's journey from an orphan to a queen was no accident. It was a divine plan, carefully woven by a God who sees beyond our circumstances and calls us to something greater. So who was Esther before she became queen? She was a girl like many of us, flawed, afraid, and unsure of what the future held. But her story is a testament to how faith, courage, and God's providence can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. If you've ever felt small or insignificant, remember Esther, because the story of who she was before she became queen is just as powerful as the story of who she became. Kindly subscribe, like, comment, and share with friends.